Now let's talk about revenue. One thing I try to tell my clients whose businesses are expanding is that more revenue generates more work. One book I recommend to our clients is called Simple Numbers, Straight Talk, Big Profits by Greg Crabtree. It's a great no-nonsense financial book. One of the reasons I love it so much is that it's helped us put a name to a phenomenon that we were seeing with some of our clients. It's called the black hole, and it's covered in Chapter 3, Labour Productivity, your key to surviving the black hole. The black hole is this strange place a business finds itself, usually somewhere in the range of $1 to $5 million in revenue, where the growth of your business forces you to add staff and infrastructure before you can really afford to do so. I find this happening a lot with my clients. Generally, somebody seems to be doing okay managing 2 centres, but then they add a 3rd centre and things start to get shaky. And if they add a 4th centre without having a strong administrative team in place, things go south really fast. Essentially, what's happening at this time is all of your administrative tasks are mounting up. For example, when you have more centres, as a centre owner, you need to focus more on the big picture, but you also need someone to manage the billing, payroll, human resources, staffing, marketing, and so on. Unfortunately, your increase in revenue is not always enough to cover all of these additional administrative costs. Honestly, this is something we struggle with in our business as well. We're at a point where if we take on 10 more clients, not only will we need to hire another accountant, but we'll also have to hire another CPA consultant to manage the new accountant. The problem is the revenue coming from those additional 10 clients won't be enough to cover both of those positions. We can anticipate that future revenue will fill in the gap when we have a couple more accountants working under the CPA, but in the meantime, we'll need to cut into our profitability to keep the business moving forward. In other businesses, this might be the time they need more help with administration, marketing, financials, or HR. Let me tell you a story about a client of mine who's in the marketing business. I started working with him in 2017, and when we made the move to working with early childhood education businesses in 2018, I kept him on as a client for 2 reasons. First, he was in huge financial trouble, and second, he was using me as a therapist to talk it all through. From the outside, it looked like he was running an extremely successful business. He had a beautiful office, staffed with 9 or 10 employees, but he was constantly losing money. Here are some of the reasons why. He took jobs with what seemed like prestigious clients, but because he wanted the client's name associated with his so badly, he would bid too low. He hired the wrong people because they would work for cheap. He had a chief operating officer that had no interest in the financial success of the business and wasted everyone's time in constant meetings. He had 6 lines of business with someone different heading up each line. The heads never seemed interested in doing the actual work, so there would be 2 people per department. He would throw random fits at his employees, complaining about the time they were spending doing non-billing work and allude to the fact that the business was losing money and he was considering closing it down. With all this in mind, I delicately let him know that his ego was running the business and he wasn't managing his people well. I had talked to him for over a year about simplifying the business to only 1 or 2 services and niching hard. He didn't want to do this because his revenue would go down. Fast forward to March 2020 and the pandemic, and a huge amount of his business dried up overnight. He called me to let me know that he had let go of his entire staff. Under any other situation, I would have told him this was an overreaction, but I looked at it as a new start. In fact, when he told me he was going to take the PPP money and hire everyone back, I told him not to, and if he did, he would end up right back where he started. A year and a half later, it's just him and 1 employee, and he's making more money than he has ever before because he's keeping it simple. When we meet each month, it's an exercise where he affirms that he's happy and less stressed and wants to keep things small. When he tells me about a job that will require him to hire another person, I immediately tell him to price it 20% higher than his last job. This ensures that he doesn't find himself spending more money on completing the job just to say that he has more revenue. I'm not saying that we all need to keep things small and simple, but we need to know where we're trying to get to and make decisions upfront to support that. While finding yourself in the black hole is inevitable as your business grows, it's important to have a plan in place to increase tuition, keep costs low, and grow at a controllable speed.